We have 3 companies that represent CanCare. My daughter's on Sunflower. We haven't had a whole lot of problems with Sunflower. I think CanCare is doing better than what we had before. I don't sit on the CanCare Oversight Committee that would know, they would know the problems if there's any. So you might talk to, I think Willie's on the CanCare Oversight, aren't you?
Yes,
So
I am.
talk to Willie afterwards, and he could probably answer your question better.
Yes, Mr. Dove? Your
Question.
And who's it directed to?
The question directed to you, sir. I was invited here,
Yes,
people in the 38th district,
yes.
and for all those who have not had the opportunity to hear what's coming from the 38th district and they'd like to be represented here, I will wait here so you can get some answers to your questions, because if they don't get a chance to hear me, how are they supposed to know?
Well, you've
what
been,
to do?
sir, you were given 3 minutes, and you were also given a chance to ask a question from the audience. I'm not breaking it down as far as if you're running for office or a candidate or a member of the staff. Everybody here is a potential voter, and everybody here has got the right to ask. So are you saying that you've not been given proper opportunity to represent your district?
Absolutely, because they're asking questions that Representative O'Brien does not have the answers to, and perhaps I can shed some light on them.
Well, that may be true, and I understand your point of view, but you were given your opportunity, those questions weren't asked, and that's just part of the protocol. So if you're willing to stay afterwards and answer people's questions, VFW, I'm sure there's no problem with that. It's just a matter of protocol that your particular office was up here and given a chance to speak. I can't direct the amount of questions that people ask, I'm sorry.
And I'll pay for breakfast too.
Does anyone else have a question for any candidate that's up here right now? Go ahead, Bill.
Let's real quick for Austin. You
Okay.
mentioned jobs aren't coming back to Kansas, but if we went from last to 13th in job creation, how do you explain that?
First off, I'm not sure when the time when we were ranked last was recorded, so I don't know if it's been over the last 2 years or if it's been 150 years when we've gone from last to 13th. And I'd have to get that information to really answer that for you, because I don't know how long that's been. I do know that the report brought out last week showed that unemployment is increasing, and so Kansas is taking a step backwards, and that's what's happening right now, but I really feel like I can't answer that adequately.
That's all right.
I'm gonna ask the question, Bill, if you don't.
Well, that's fine, I've got other people with their hands up. So Dennis, fix it, please. And then I'll go to Kathy Pete, and then we'll go to whoever else is up. Go right ahead, Dennis. And who's it directed to, please?
All three of them. If we want to increase jobs in Kansas, part of that is having companies come to Kansas, and that means transportation and good roads. What would you do to increase funding for roads and infrastructure improvement?
That was directed at all.
All
correct?
three.
Okay, thank you. Anybody wants to answer that?
I agree with you that a big part of getting companies into Kansas and keeping them in Kansas is ensuring that our infrastructure is not only strong, but stays strong. And our 2013 report card showed that our infrastructure was lacking in several areas. One of the ways that we try to fund our highways and our roads is through the tolls that we put on our interstates. That's a good way to bring non-tax revenue into the state that we can spend on those roads. But what we have to be careful about is not taking money away from the DOT budget. We have to allocate their money and then leave it to them to spend their money. In the past, Kansas has been very good about using the DOT as a piggy bank and taking money that they were going to use on programs away from them. And we have to stop doing that, because they set a plan, they know what that money's going to do, and then all of a sudden they don't have it, and they're picking and choosing what programs, what projects they can do, and we have to make sure that they can do their job to make sure that funding is there. So it's not always whether or not it's funded, it's making sure that the funding they have annually stays with the DOT.
Thank you for the question, Dennis. Except I forgot it. It has to do with Department of The last time that the state took money out of that was back in 2010. Previous administration had taken more out. We took out 200 million and with the intention of paying it back. We were ranked 5th in the Molina corporate group that goes in and rates states on job creation and stuff like that. So I think we're doing okay. I think, but the roads, we're ranked 8th across the nation as far as our roads are. If you drive on the interstate anywhere, our roads are in pretty good condition compared to other states. So the Department of Transportation also, when they raised taxes back in 2010, got to keep 4/10 of that raise in taxes. That's why it didn't go down all the way. So they got an extra 0.4% in taxes. So, and that's one of the ways they're funded. They're funded through the gas tax, through tires, you can buy tires, oil filters, any automotive product, they receive a portion of that to help fund them and keep them going.
Kathy?
For all of you, I just would like to know how you would feel about looking at the tax structure that we have and eliminating tax exemptions for people before raising taxes on everybody. I mean, have people that are already not paying taxes pay some of the taxes.
In, I think it was 2011 or 2012, we had a bill that was to do away with tax exemptions. In 2011 or 2012, we had a tax exemption bill that was to do away with tax exemptions. The Girl Scouts came out of the woodwork. Anybody that was getting a tax exemption showed up at the Capitol. We couldn't get that left. The only thing left that we could tax was coin-operated laundromats. So what we've got to do is get 63 people to agree to do that. And that's been tried before. It was tried under Brownback and it was tried under Sebelius. And some people aren't willing to give up their tax exemption.
Anyone else? Okay, just a second, Harold, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I would like to say that we had 70 sign in, and if you didn't happen to sign in, would you sign out? Well, I think we owe Bill a big round of applause for that.
So we've got some more questions here, so we're not, I know everybody's on time, but democracy is not an easy thing to participate in.
This is for everybody.
Okay.
What is the rainy day fund? Is that something the state pulls money out of to, can you explain what that is?
Kansas doesn't have a rainy day fund. One of the reasons they didn't institute a rainy day fund, who is it going to decide when it's raining? So, in the legislature's wisdom, they decided not to do a rainy day fund.
Let me let this young lady, she's not asked a question before, go right ahead.
Okay, my question is for all three candidates. I would like to know what either you are doing currently or what you plan to do to keep in touch with your voters, and how will you or are you getting a realistic view of the community that you are serving?
Well, I can tell you that I made it a personal commitment when we decided to start this campaign to stay in touch. And if I have questions about something, if I need information, I go to the experts in our community. I've made it a point to sit down with our business leaders, with our citizens, with people who have concerns, and listen to those so I can best address what our district really needs, what our district really wants. If elected, I'd continue to do that. I think as a representative, it's important to come back to your home district, have a place where people can contact you, have a place where people can express their concerns, express what they'd like to see, what they need to see, and what changes are and how they're affecting them. My door is always open. People can call me, email me, whatever they need. I want to make sure I'm in touch with the district and the community and make sure that I'm helping everyone equally.
If elected, I do plan to have monthly meetings in all three sections, north, central, and southern area of the 42nd district.
Project your voice out.
Could you say that again?
If elected, I plan on having monthly meetings in all three sections of the 42nd district, which is northern Leavenworth County, the central part, which is around the Tonganoxie area, and Eudora, which is in the southern part. I think it's very important to have those meetings, to find out what the concerns are, and talk to the people in the district.
I apologize for the interference, they're working on it right now.
I do weekly newsletters, which I post on my website. If you're on my email, I send it out to everybody on my email list. We did have a problem with our computer, it crashed, so I lost a lot of email address. So if you want to sign up for a newsletter, I do it that way. I also send my newsletters to the papers to be published, and I attend all the forums and things in my area that I can. And like I said, and my phone number's always available. My office was always open to people. So that's the way I stay in touch.
I see your hand, Greg. Is anybody else? I'm not gonna. Greg, go ahead. I apologize, I can't get this to shut off. We're doing something over there. The microphone's probably tied. Go ahead.
So my question is, to everybody,
Okay.
would you say that an unemployment rate of 4.9% is lower than last year's 5.6% unemployment rate, as according to the Hampshire Department of Labor?
Are you just asking for a numerical figure, one's lower than the other?
It's 4.9 lower than 5.6.
Okay, well, I'd say that's a distinct point, but that's, okay. I can't, I'm not. Go ahead.
Yes, I would say it was lower.
All right.
No other response?
So you've given several. Is anyone else able to give a question? We've had 70 people show up for this, which is pretty amazing. They set out 40 seats originally. I'm not necessarily cutting you off, but you've given 3 or 4 questions here, so that's pretty. Okay, I think we're going to call it quits on this. Nobody else has a question. We certainly thank you for showing up. We were kind of worried about the thing. It's a hot day. Democracy only flows with good civil discourse, so we appreciate everybody, the stand-ins for the candidates and whatever. You all did a great job. Everybody that's a candidate up here and in the audience deserves a round of applause just because it's hard. Thank you so much. I would invite there is candidate material on the back tables, and we'd ask the candidates to take it with them when they leave. Thank you very much. Thanks for attending. We appreciate it.
And so, and I got
Nice to see you.